Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Femina and today I'm doing a back to school video for you. This is JoJo and she has been attached to my hip for, I don't know, a few days, maybe since the kids went back to school. No, it's not true. They've been in school for 6 weeks now. So it's a little strange for me to do this video right now because my kids had actually been in school for about 6 weeks. They went back to school right after 4th of July holiday, and we only have about 3 more weeks of school left until they get their track out time. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, my kids do go to year-round school, and I will leave a link in the description box below of a video I did that explains what it is and the schedule and all the information regarding year-round school, but we love it. So I thought today I would do a video on our morning school routine as well as some tips if you have a kid going to school for the first time or transitioning to like middle school or high school. So let me talk about our morning school routine. Now, since I am a working mom, it has been a priority for me to have my kids be independent as soon as possible. And I started them on this road about the time they turned 4. So right now my youngest is 6 and my oldest is 11, and they are about 90% independent in the morning. So they are responsible for setting their own alarms and getting up on time, responsible for breakfast, making their lunch and getting dressed, brushing their hair, brushing their teeth, and getting out of the house on time. And it has been quite a process, but we are almost there. Now I say 90% because sometimes they need help cutting something or cooking something in the morning, and I'm more than happy to help with those kind of things. But otherwise they are responsible for all of the other stuff, and they are doing really good with that. So one tip I could give you guys is that have your kids do as much as they can and be responsible for themselves, because it will save you a lot of kind of drama as they get older. So one of the incentives I had for my kids is that if they had some time after they got ready, but before they had to leave for the bus, is they could use that time any way that they wanted. And they have really been using that time to work on their art or do, even watching TV. I didn't really care, but they are responsible for managing their time, so they can choose to wake up early or choose to wake up on time. They have learned now what works for them and what doesn't work for them. So that is one tip I have, is to get your kids independent, and you'll be surprised that they could accomplish a lot more and get more confidence from doing things themselves. So there are days where they don't feel like doing something, or they're a little extra tired, and I do pack their lunch or do help them out in those kind of ways, but for the most part they do everything themselves. The second tip I have is when you have a new school year and there is a big transition, really talk about with your children how they feel about the transition. Now I had 2 kids returning to the same elementary school, so they didn't have as big of a transition because they knew about where everything was in the school, and they knew who their teacher was and all of that kind of stuff. But I did have my oldest daughter who was transitioning to middle school, and we did a lot of prep work ahead of time to get her comfortable with starting a new school. And some of those things are going to visit the school, going to orientation when they had it, figuring out where she was supposed to do, getting her schedule, and even talking to some of her friends to see if they were in the same classes. And this alleviated a lot of anxiety. And it only took her about a week to get adjusted to middle school, and she loves it. So I am really happy about that. Tip number 3, make school exciting. I know some kids kind of get a little nervous or they don't want to go to school, but I really hype up the beginning of a new school year and really set it up where they will be having fun, and it has worked every year. So that's a little tip, because I know a lot of people may not think that's a big thing, but it really does set up their school year to have them looking forward to going to school. So that is tip number 3. Tip number 4, which I really had to learn over the last few years, is to let them relax when they come home. So when the kids were a little bit younger, I used to, as soon as they came home, I would be like snack and homework and all of that kind of stuff. But I had to realize that they were in school all day, just like I was working all day. And when they come home, they need downtime. So I really don't even, I might just ask them how school was, but I don't really have those conversations with them until later in the evening, because they're a lot more relaxed and has had time to process what happened throughout the day. And I found the difference about asking them how they did at school as soon as they got home versus a little bit later in the evening. You got a lot more information. So try that trick out. So right now when they come home from school, they can get their own snack, and then they can do whatever they want. If they want to do homework, they can do that. But if they don't, then I don't really say anything, because they also manage their own work. I just keep an eye on it to make sure they're not falling behind. But other than that, they are responsible for their own stuff. So if they need to get paper signed, they are responsible for that. I do not go look in their school bags for stuff that the teacher sent home. If they have to do homework, they manage that. I don't even really check homework unless they ask for help or ask me to check it over, or I find that they are not doing so well on tests. At that point, I do get involved, but for the most part, they manage themselves, because I do want them to learn those skills. So that is tip number 4. Tip number 5 is not to be so serious about school. So I also had to learn this, that I was taking things way too seriously. So now I've kind of relaxed a little bit and got more into the groove, and I'm more like a fun mom now, meaning not their pals or anything, but I am not so serious all the time, and it's more fun to be at home and kind of stress and do stuff after school. So those would be my 5 tips about getting ready for the new school year. Let me know if you have a kid that's starting school and how you feel about it, and if you would like any other tips, leave them in the comments below, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!